Let us invite Senior Business Analyst from Mentari, Mulia, Patrick Cheung. Good day, Patrick.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi there.
Hi, nice to meet you.
All right, Patrick, now the COVID-19 pandemic has affected various changes in people's behavior, including investing. Some people spent more time to focus on their investments in different types, including fraud investments, unfortunately. Now, can you please tell us the real reason behind it and why are there so many investment frauds recently?
Sure, of course, because of this pandemic, I think online become our new habits for most of us, right? And then we do shopping online, we do watching movie online, we even do investing online, right? So one of the major reasons for having so many investment frauds is actually online becomes so easy for many people to open investment accounts by online methods in another country. That's the major issue, actually. Because one of the typical character for investment fraud is actually those operations are usually operate in the country outside of our own country. Why? Simply because those criminals, those operators of those investment frauds, they believe that having the money transferred outside of our own country will make our local regulators chase them harder and even have the legal actions harder on them. I think that's also one of the reasons why there are so many nationwide corporations to hack those criminals down recently. But having said that, actually another very major reason is actually due to our human beings' greedy mindset. Why I'm saying that? Why I'm saying this? Because the very typical types of the investment frauds, they're always offering something like zero risk investment, always offering guaranteed returns and overly promised consistent incomes. Well, those are very good signs for the pawn-side schemes, actually. Okay. So all of us, we know that it is not possible. Yeah. So, but still, people are still greedy and believing in those too good to be true stories.
Yeah, people buys that.
Now, Patrick, as you know, here in Indonesia, we have several cases of fraud, actually. I believe personally it takes two to tango. One is the financial illiteracy of the victims. Now, these scammers, they see an opening, they see an opportunity and they capitalize on it. 1 + 1 = 2. That just makes the scam possible. Would you agree on this?
Agree. Agree. Yeah, that's how the scams come from.
Okay, now Patrick, I think this one is for me. It's like investment 101. How do we spot investment fraud and how to avoid them? Because I think I would be one of those people who fall into this. So can you help me out here?
Well, there are very simple rules, actually, 3 rules. Firstly, always go to local investment companies because we need to understand our local regulators and the laws. How can they protect us? That's the first thing. So in Indonesia, those regulators body that includes OJK and BPT, okay? And of course, clearinghouse as well, okay? Secondly, in all those investment frauds, the last part is always those fraudulent companies that they're trying to take the client's money and run away, right? So the second point is how can we secure our fund becomes the very key item. So how can we do that? Very easy. We pick the companies that we invest must be fully licensed, must be fully regulated by the local regulators. Because, for example, like in Indonesia, all people's money, investors' fund are putting into segregated account that actually the company cannot even touch, cannot even remove that from your account. It's directly monitored by the government body, owned by owned clearinghouse, okay? And finally, never believes if someone said they can guarantee your investment returns with amazing return rate and zero risk. Never believe that.
Yeah, I personally also believe that there's always a profit and loss at the same time. I mean, you just have to realize that as well before you invest your money. So nowadays, it's the trading robots that also emerge as well. So do you think this trading robots are considered safe, or is it not safe because, you know, we are the one who is supposed to be responsible with our own money? Or what do you think?
Right. Actually, talking about trading robots, right? Actually, we can also call that automate algo trading. That's how the financial people call that, right? In fact, it's not something new. It has been here for around 30 years already. But it's just at the very beginning, it's widely used by the big investment banks. They need to execute their transactions with a very high speed. That's why they use computers, because human cannot execute at that speed. Okay, and then nowadays we call that high frequency trading actually, and so many banks earn so much money out of the high frequency trading just because they can react faster than the others. Okay, but due to the technology progress in the recent 10 years, the privilege of using the robot trading become also available for our normal users nowadays, simply because our laptops, even our mobile phones, they're very powerful computers nowadays, actually, comparing in the old days, right? So that's why more and more investors can use robot trading. Whether the robot trading is safe or not, heavily depending on actually the investment strategies. So a bad investment strategy, the computer won't make it good. Okay, so firstly, how the strategy works is the most important thing. It also depending on the programmers who wrote the program, who wrote the computer programs, and also how thorough testing before they use the robot in the real market with the real money. Back testing is actually one of the most typical common practice in this industry. The longer the history the programmer can test, the better the quality of the robot can be. Okay, but here is the thing. If you start hearing someone also telling you, oh, I made a robot that can guarantee your return with zero risks,
Yeah.
please turn your red alert on, please.
That's an
Remember, never believe in those kind of statements.
All right. Good to
Now,
remember.
Patrick, when it comes to trading robots, I believe that when they make these sort of marketing efforts, they target people who are too busy with their own work. They target people who think that trading, this is of course trading, not investment. I think we need to differentiate between investment and trading, because robots, of course, they use the MetaTrader 4 and 5 platform. That is not investment, it's actually a trading, because I do it myself. I don't use a robot, but when I share my stories with people, this is trading people, this is not investment. So you need to do your diligence, you need to research about the robot, and also just don't, it's not really that difficult to learn. If you just set aside an hour each day, everything is available on the internet. You can learn how to trade yourself.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Patrick?
Yep, correct. Always go back to the basics.
All right, well, going back to the basics, so can we go back to the basic for me? How does the trading robot system work?
Okay, as I said, firstly, robot will not just come out of nowhere. Human programs the robot, so it's still made by human.
Right.
That's actually the number one rule. That means if there's some miracles that human cannot make, that robot cannot make too, because it's made by human, right? So personally, I like to use robot myself too, because it removes a lot of routine work for me. Actually, the most popular usage of the robot, we call that stop loss and take profit. The user set an instruction in the computer saying, oh, by this price, by this time, by this amount, I want to automatically close my position to take the profit. Or if I suffer more than this loss, please close my position. These are the most widely used robot actually. Most of the investment software, they already have this robot built in. So, but I still believe there is no single robot can be suitable for every single market condition. So still, human, we are the ones still making the decision. Just like what Mr. Bruce said, we are still doing our groundworks first.
Okay.
All right.
Patrick, let's go back to the more technical side of the robot, okay?
Yeah.
We can skip back and forth from basic to experts. When it comes to the robots, okay, what is the logical take profit and stop loss? How many pips would you recommend? Let's say a simple pairing of precious metal, XAU, gold. What's a reasonable take profit and stop loss pip for you?
Okay, in my theory, it always like this. I will set the take profit and the stop loss at the same time. And then my analogy is I will use a rule called profit more and lose less rule. That means, for example, if I set my stop loss, take profit at $10, then my stop loss must be lower than $10. Let's say $5. That means I only risk for $5 to gain for a potential $10 profit. That is my principle.
A 2-to-1
I call
ratio.
that more. Yeah, approximately the ratio is like 2-to-1 in my principle.
And
so
in
I
the
call
robots?
that profit more, lose less rule.
And in the robots, again, to my benefit, what sort of indicators are mostly used? Is it RSI, moving average, Bollinger Bonds? What are the usual indicators?
You mean for me?
Yeah, what do you
I like to use stochastic and MDI.
Okay.
All right, so
And
those are
then
the
for
tips.
stochastic, I use different stochastic as well.
All right, so that good. I mean, that enlightens us as well, especially the newcomers in this kind of investment. So could you please enlighten us how to choose the right investment then?
Okay. Choosing the right investment is actually one of the major topic for our industry. I believe that firstly, we need to understand the risk involved for the investment first. Because it's not a video game. We cannot undo and start over again, right? It's an investment. And then we have to be mentally get ourselves ready in case there's financial losses. We need to live with it. That's the first thing we need to prepare ourselves. Secondly, be clear of our investment objectives. Okay, so the objective of having, to save some money for the vacation next month is very different than a strategy, than an objective that the goal of purchasing a house in 5 years versus maybe the retirement plan in 20 years. It's very different. And then determine how much risk we can afford. That's also very important as well. Lastly, diversification. Don't put all the eggs in one basket. So with all this information, I believe, come to Mentari, our company. I think our consultant definitely can provide you a suitable solution plan for you.
Okay. Now, Patrick, when somebody would ask me, all right, Bruce, how do I go about investing, not trading, okay, investing, I would cite my own example, starting with a bank account, which is very, very safe. Then you move on to bonds. You move on to mutual funds, and then stocks. And then when you're up for it, then you start trading. But of course, trading takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of research.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Patrick?
Yeah. Agree. So it's in our industry, we also have the pyramid, right? The bigger one always is the foundation. We need to put the money in the most safe place. And then you only risk a little bit of your money on the top for the risky products.
Okay. All right. So Patrick, of course, when we're talking investments, I want something that's profitable, and safe. Money, right? Profit. So how can we be sure about which type of investment is profitable and safe?
Okay. So we talk about the safety of that part first. So it's still the same. Firstly, find a local company. Do not transfer the money to any other countries. State that with local, because we have the local regulators to protect us. That's first. Find the fully licensed local brokers with you, the investment companies with you. Thirdly, still never believe the guarantee returns and zero risk, those statements. That's for the safety part. Okay, for the profit part, if we trade by ourselves, just like Mr. Bruce, right? So it really depending on our skills in the fundamental analysis and technical analysis in the decision of our transactions, right? That's the groundwork, the basic things we need to do ourselves. But if you decide to seek investment opportunities from analysis, just like our company, and for example, our company provide a professional service, provide the performance track record of all those analysts. So what are the transactions they made, how much they profit in the last month, the month before, right? And then with our newly launched app, we call that Mulia, where our client can easily get access to all the performance of the professional gurus, all the transaction details, but just a few clicks. And then, of course, welcome any of you to choose that the apps, download those apps, and to find the suitable gurus that you want to follow, and to make your investment to be better, and even have the same performance with the professional gurus.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Cheung, for your insights, your time, and sharing of knowledge with us here. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you.